Come one, come all to Wickerbottom's wonderful boutique of wonders. We have crops ranging from peppers to tomatoes and then some. And what better fashion to give you the layout of all these crops than in a tier list video? You've seen characters, you've seen crockpot dishes. Now it's about time for the crop tier list. The first thing to mention is that gardening is quite a tedious process. It is a very time-consuming and sometimes the reward not being worth it type of process. However, these crops we will be ranking, we have put extended amount of research and time and effort, all three combined, into bringing you a tier list video on the subject. So, I have two main points to address. The first point being, yes, indeed, this video was done by Slasher. I hope before anyone starts commenting, I did watch that video, and I had a few disagreements. There was slight disagreements, but still ones that I have to explain for my own personal reasons. Especially considering that crops have had certain updates done to them, and certain dishes have been added with the return of them. My second point is that I did not do this alone. I was joined by my wonderful 500-hour plus Warley main, Cafe Memes. How are you?
I am good. How about you?
Cut the facade.
Cut the voice.
No one's buying
okay.
that, dude.
Oh shit.
So,
No one's buying the e-girl
in
voice.
total, there is a lot of crops to be reviewed, all of them found in the Plant Registry tab. How do you get the Plant Registry tab open? Well, of course, you get the Premier Gardener hat, or normal Gardener hat, and you click Use. So this is the complete Plant Registry. Of course, weeds not having their, completed tab, how Potato and Pumpkin and all the other ones have. We will be going all over all of them in this video, and we will start. No better time than the present. Let us commence with F tier. The first up in our F tier is Fire Nettles. Fire Nettles prove to be a hassle. Of course, it is generally regarded as a incredibly annoying plant that could only be even seen with semi-usefulness during winter. However, I don't think this coins it D tier in the slightest. If you are having problems with heat in winter, I'd assume you'd have a fire pit up by now, or any type of system that would make you not be cold, so a fire nettle does not seem like a great consistent system.
Fun fact with the cafe, if you're playing Willow, it completely negates the entire burning thing.
Last up in F tier is Spiny Bindweed, heavily regarded as indefinitely the worst weed, worst plant in this game. For obvious reasons, it attacks survivors when they disturb a nearby plant. They're just normal pricks. Also, medium water consumption could prove to be taxing to plants that require much more. Bottom of F tier it goes, and that is concluding our F2 category. We move on to D tier. First up in D tier, we have the branch of pomegranates. Pomegranates, the first thing to note of them is that they are a fruit. Therefore, being able to be made in cookbook dishes that require fruit, but not vegetables. So certain really helpful dishes like pierogi or vegetable stinger won't be able to be made. However, you do have access to other dishes such as fruit medley.
Or if you're playing Warley, then you can create the best dish in the game, rice fruit crepes.
I found them to have subpar stats when eaten by themselves, even as someone playing Wartox. D tier is the most fitting tier for a fruit like it. Watermelon is our next crop in D tier. Being a fruit, it possesses the same, advantages and disadvantages of pomegranate. However, watermelon seems to be a slightly more underwhelming fruit. 3 ticks of water consumption makes it the most thirsty crop, I suppose.
It is a watermelon. We'll need water.
And the dishes it makes are subpar, I suppose. Melonsicle being incredibly mid. Just eating it by itself, providing passable, but in the end, very mediocre stats. Right under pomegranate, watermelon, befits D tier. Third in our D tier category is forget-me-lots. Forget-me-lots are known as that one weed that is quite common, being the most common weed. However, it does provide certain advantages as a weed, despite being an incredible nuisance. It could be used for sanity dishes, the most obvious one being the soothing tea, providing 45 sanity in total, and also being able to be used as a filler for meatballs. Fourth in D tier is durian. With some redeemable qualities, it sees itself in a very reasonable position. Durian is a very odd fruit, the problem with it being that screwed up dishes turn into monster lasagna. If you're not looking for certain dishes in particular, or you are not playing Word and don't plan to use durians to your advantage, they will serve as a detriment. So due to that, durian finds itself in D tier.
For durian.
The last crop in D tier, not even being a crop, but rather a weed, tillweed to be exact. It has certain benefits, much like forget-me-lots, despite being a little bit more mediocre than forget-me-lots. They can make tillweed salve, which heal a pretty dependable amount, and they provide health even flat up, however I don't recommend. Finishing off the entire tier. Well, Howie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, C tier has some pretty controversial ones.
The top of C tier, the cream of the C tier crop, garlic. We have garlic here. Garlic is a crop that is most notably known for being the crop that Warley can utilize and expunge to its full potential. However, as a Wickerbottom, or, well, any other character of course, garlic may not see the light of its true power. Despite the fact eating it innately gives a detriment to your sanity, but I do find that the dishes that it can make, namely creamy potato puree, to be quite beneficial to you. Additionally, garlic is available all 4 seasons long, takes minimal water consumption, and requires compost. All of these combined put garlic at the top of C tier. The well-known, the well-respected carrot finds itself in our C tier category, 2nd place. It's the most popularized crop in the entire game, and it has so much versatility that it finds itself quite comfortably atop C tier. Carrot finds itself in C tier. The vegetable class can be used to make pierogies, among many other things, as a really good filler. Also can be eaten innately without any dishes for around 15 hunger. Finding them in the caverns when ruin rushing is also a well-known fact. They are very helpful in that regard. All 3 of these make it C tier. Corn is next up in our C tier category. It is a very well-known crop, much like carrots and tomatoes. It is available all 3 seasons, subtract some winter, consumes compost, restoring growth formula and manure, and is a amazingly versatile crop, quotes the plant registry. So, I find corn to be one of the better dishes. I'll just say having a lot of crockpot dishes that it could use require fish tacos, powder cake, right, among many others. Corn is there for it. It is a relatively fast-growing crop and a relatively farmable crop. Both of those are qualities we strive for in farming. So, of course, corn finds itself in C tier. Following corn, we have asparagus in our C tier. Is it profitable? Maybe not so much due to not being entirely nourishing or health providing. The crockpot equivalent of asparagus soup, also proves to be quite mediocre itself. And the overall stigma I have around asparagus is that of garlic, in that it is very, maybe not the most versatile as a carrot. However, you could use it beyond its own value as if you were just eating it as the product itself. Our last crop in C tier is the pepper plant. A very odd plant in the sense that it does come with certain downsides, and you would have to know how to use a pepper to properly get the most value out of it. Eating them in its crockpot equivalent, pepper poppers, destroys your sanity but gives you 30 health and 25 hunger, being a quite nice dish to have for heals. it passes the pierogi test, and it consumes manure, so it is quite manageable to grow. And that about wraps up our C tier category cafe. Satisfied with our placements, we move on to B tier. What better crop to start off B tier than the pumpkin plant? Pumpkins, not only one of the fanciest and most nourishing crops, but also quite versatile, being able to be used in certain dishes as a vegetable, passing the pierogi test. Available in winter, something that not a lot of crops actually have going for them. The pumpkin can be used to make pumpkin cookies, an alright dish on and of itself, not the greatest of dishes, however, certainly something that you would look to if you were growing pumpkins and were in need of sanity. This versatility alongside the ability of having a lot of nourishing qualities plants pumpkin plant at B tier. Eggplant solidifies itself as one of the most modest and honorable vegetables. This plant is the key element in stuffed eggplant. Who would have guessed, of course? It provides decent amount of hunger eaten innately, or eaten as the stuffed eggplant version, even cooked. It does give you a well-rounded amount of stats. Eggplant lovers, this ranking goes just to you. The last crop for our B tier category goes out to the onion plant. Personally, one of my favorites and one of my most respected plants in my eyes. The onion is around all seasons subtract winter. The onion can be used in a multitude of crockpot dishes there, such as salsa fresca and the veggie burger, both of them being great for sanity as well as a decent amount of hunger. Growing onions in your world is something that I certainly would I would at least attempt, of course. However, being a somewhat rare plant, one might not come across the opportunity to do such. In any case, an onion plant is a plant worth cultivating. And in any such case, a great plant to finalize our B tier category.
Oh, I have some things to say about the onion. As a true Orleanian myself, onions are used for a lot of dishes, though a bit more rare than your average potato. Bon bouillon, if I'm saying it right. It gives you a ton of health, hunger, and is a ton of versatility.
Wise words coming from the Wiley player, of course. And now, Howie, we move on to A tier. Are you ready?
Oh, you know I am.
All I did in A tier was just put one crop in. Do you know what that one singular crop was? It was the tomato.
Durian?
Durian?
No.
The durian! Nah, you bad for that one. Tomato root is the sole crop all alone in A tier. However, that doesn't exclude it from being one of the greatest crops in the game. It is around all seasons subtract winter, and being the key elements in a lot of crockpot dishes, all of which are very helpful crockpot dishes. Finishing A tier, what remains is the final category, the one of the highest renown, the one of the highest honor and respect, the ones that all crops aspire to be. It is the S tier category. Now these are truly the cream of the crop. What better dish to start off our tier than the potato plant? This fine, golden like sun, according to Wolfgang, tuber boasts incredibly good stats eaten innately. In my opinion, the best stats eaten innately when cooked, especially providing 20 full health points, consuming a minimal amount of water, and being available from all seasons subtract summer. These tubers are insanely good in making dishes. Even though they should not be used as fillers due to being significantly better eaten by themselves, and in all regards speaking, a generous and really well-respected plant. Yet they also may be used to make fancy spiral tubers and creeping potato puree, both relatively good dishes on their own regard, and both boasting good sanity gains. All in all, the potato is one of the most well-rounded and generous, perfect plants. The last crop to be ranked out of 23 in this beautiful plant registry, dragon fruit. Dragon fruit is regarded as the best crop to use when in terms of health. Known for the most notable dish in almost the entire game next to meatballs, I'd say, dragon pie, an S tier crockpot dish if one wishes to watch my crockpot tier list video, and an all-around beautiful dish. To finalize it all, dragon fruit deserves its spot in S tier. We are done with all crops. We have ranked them all, starting from F and ending to S. Here is a picture of the tier list that we have completed, of course, to make it more simpler for people who have skipped to this part of the video. Any agreements or disagreements are generally welcomed and accepted. I'm quite thick-skinned, I'll have you know. And of course, I like understanding what I do wrong and right. Cafe, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Is there any closing remarks you'd like to add?
Please subscribe to our channels, as I am in Wholesome Cafe memes, and we will see you later.
This has been Rapid Fire, detailing all crops, and I will see you all in the next Don't Starve video. Peace!